Morning traders, welcome to Trading Together. I'm Mel Gacee. Today is Wednesday, February the 25th. How's everybody doing today? We are in an interesting market this morning. It's a bit trappy, isn't it? Let's take a look and see what we've got here. But first of all, I want to say hi to Roberto Gaspar. Thanks for saying hi, Roberto. And if you're here this morning and you haven't said hi yet or you're new, welcome. This is a place for traders of all levels. We're going to take some live trades together. If we get the right setups, we're going to analyze the market. We're going to take some time to learn and teach. So if anybody has questions, this is the place. There aren't a lot of places out there that are going to teach you for free or give you any help at all, to be honest. So jump in there with your questions. Don't be shy. Say hi. Let's get to know each other. I really want this to be a great community for traders of all levels. All right. So yeah, thanks for saying hi, Roberto. And let's jump right in. So today we opened up with a gap up. Anna is here. Good morning, Anna. We opened with a gap up this morning. And as you know, what that means is that we moved significantly from the close of yesterday, which was Tuesday, to the open of today. The reason that we experience gaps is that the futures, the market continues to run all night long. Whereas the index, the S&P 500, it does not. The SPY records a closing level at 4 p.m. Eastern. It does continue to run all night, but it records that closing level. So when we experience this movement overnight, it can give us gaps up, gaps down. And basically all it is the difference between yesterday's close and today's open. That's the main idea of gaps. So we did get a gap today to the upside. So we gapped up about 20 plus points, I want to say, at the open. And we are still up about 34 points. So it has been bullish, but it's been trappy. Look at this kind of behavior here. Really kind of just a little bit trappy here. So we're going to have to be on our toes this morning. I'm definitely feeling the need to be cautious here. All right, let's take a look and see what kind of trades we could have made this morning. I've made a couple, one break even, one winning, but right now I'm just flat. And the two trades that I made were small, so I've still got some goals today to meet, but the day is young. So let's take a look at this. Isn't this, when you zoom out a bit, isn't this kind of sideways? It is. It's rangy. It's sideways. So not a great environment for scalping. So I'm just watching closely here. We came up right at the open and we zigzagged a little bit, but we jumped up here and hit this basically 692, 691.99 level. We jumped up and hit that 692 basically, and then immediately retreated. We came down as low as 690. So not very far. We haven't come very low. The feel of today has been bullish, but I will say this has been trappy trading. Look at this quick long bars. We get this little climb and then whoosh, we get the whoosh and then a little climb again. So very, very hard to trade this environment because it is sideways. That is basically what it is. The other thing we notice is that the VIX is sideways. So here's the VIX since the open. You can see we've got a bottom here at 18.5. We've got a top at about 18.8. It has really stayed within that range today. It hasn't gone too far away from that. We got a little pop here and a little drop here, but nothing really to be excited about. It's staying within the range. So when we are range bound, as you guys know, I say this a lot, being range bound markets, choppy, whatever you like to call it, that's the kryptonite to the scalper, to the day trader. Because when you jump in, so let's say, We came up, let's say, let me zoom in so we can analyze this a little better. So let's say we jumped in here at this break of the VWAP because it's been a bullish day, because we're up over the VWAP, because we've got the MACD rolling up here. It looks like a good trade, doesn't it? So let's say we traded that call at the turn of the VWAP. We might have made some money on this little push here and then whoosh right back down. And we haven't recovered that high yet. Looks like we're trying right now. And then let's say you traded this bar, right? This down bar, this big whoosh here. And you said, oh, okay, we're going down, we're going negative. I'm going to get some puts. Well, what did they do? They didn't drop it. So if you got in on this bar, you're losing money right now. So this is the kryptonite of the day trader. And this is where we always have to be careful. And we can't always recognize range, especially as it begins. It's hard to recognize a range-bound market when we're at the beginning of one. But usually after some time, we can see it. So right here, like I said, we can definitely see it, right? We've got a bottom forming through here. We've got a top forming through here. And we're just over under this overnight high. That's been the magnet today since the open, really. We came up at the open here at 9:30 and boom, immediately big, strong green bar pushed up through the overnight high, got a nice push there, and then boom, right back down under it, and then over it, and then under it, and then to it, and then reject, and then up over it. So this has been the range, and this is where we have to be careful. I'm currently just kind of sitting on my hands waiting for some movement outside of this range. So right now what we're getting, of course, is a little move up. And let's take a look at some of our other tools. What do we have that kind of helps us gauge where we're going? Well, the VIX isn't being super helpful today, is it? It's giving us sideways chop as well. So we can't really tell from the VIX, not right now anyway. The leadership is sometimes another place we go for a clue. And when I say leadership, I mean things like looking at the NASDAQ, looking at the Magnificent Seven stocks. These are stocks that provide leadership. They kind of tell us, where are we going? So remember, NVIDIA has earnings tonight. So they're going to be kind of one of the leaders today. And they are definitely moving up 1.9% elevated today as investors prepare for earnings tonight after the close. So be aware of that. If you're a trader who holds positions overnight, be aware that NVIDIA has the power to move the market all by itself. It sure does. Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, is very good. I feel like he's always very good with the forward guidance, and that's what it's going to be about. We always expect NVIDIA to beat, and they usually do. They beat the earnings projections almost always. They're very good at that. But they, most of the Mag 7s, as we've gone through the earnings season, so NVIDIA brings up the end of earnings season for the mega tech stocks. As we are going through this, the very tail end of the season, we have seen Mag 7s, meaning, guys, remember we talk about the big mega Titan tech stocks, right? Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Google, NVIDIA, Tesla. These are the Titans. These are the mega techs. We call them the Mag 7. So we've seen the earnings season we've kind of gone through that, and we've seen that they have done well for the most part. The mega tech stocks have done well, but they've done well with their earnings, but they haven't done so well on their charts. Is NVIDIA going to follow that pattern? Like I said, Jensen Huang, the CEO, is very good at inspiring confidence. He really is. And so forward guidance is going to be what the investors are going to be looking for. That's where, so the earnings, the report part of earnings report is just, how did we do? Did we meet our goals? Did we meet our revenue and those different types of metrics? But the guidance, the forward guidance, is where the CEO or sometimes the CFO will come on to an actual call and will talk to investors or anyone listening. It's a public call, and will basically share their vision for the future. That's basically what forward guidance is. What's their vision for the future? If the market, the investors like the guidance, usually that's a great thing, and the stock will move up. If they're not so sure about it, the stock will move down. But even then, sometimes you can have great guidance, you can have great earnings, and even then you can still see the stock tank. That's why I don't personally trade earnings. I feel like they're a crapshoot. I don't trade them, but that can happen. You can see a company do really well in their earnings and then just tank in the market, or vice versa. You can see them do very poorly on the earnings and then they just spike up, and you never really know why. But I will say this, as it comes to NVIDIA, we will see Jensen Huang, and he, like I said, he is good at communicating. He's good at sharing his vision of the future. And so he usually does really well with that. However, it remains to be seen how the stock market, how the investors are going to respond, because the other Mag 7s have not done so well through this earning season. So this is what we're kind of waiting for, and NVIDIA brings up the tail end. So all that to say, if you're holding positions, be careful. NVIDIA can move the market all by itself, okay? So let's check this chart. I'm still staying out. I'm sitting on my hands right now. We've come up over this top, but just barely. See where my cursor is? This is our most recent top, and look at where the body of the candle stopped. Right there. 691.3 is the recent high. So let's see if we want to continue up here, or we're going to do more of this sideways chop. That is what has been going on all day. Other than this push up, we have been sitting in sideways chop. This is trappy. So we're going to be cautious. We're going to be careful. All right. Notables today on the leaderboard is Bitmine. Bitmine is up 10, almost 11% today. Boom. What a nice refreshing run for the crypto space. We have been just hammered in the crypto space. But Bitmine, so remember, Bitmine is run by Tom Lee, who is the head of FundStrat. He's a very popular guy. You'll see him a lot on CNN, financials. He talks everywhere. He's a super smart guy. He's got his own hedge fund, and he created BMNR, which was basically a model of what Strategy did. So MicroStrategy used to be a different company, and Michael Saylor actually converted MicroStrategy into Strategy and turned it into a Bitcoin, basically, treasury company. All he does now is hold Bitcoin. And so Tom Lee of FundStrat went out and did exactly the same thing, created an Ethereum treasury. And so these companies have done well in the past, but recently they've really gotten hammered with the crypto space falling the way it has. So nice to see Bitmine getting a pump here, Strategy getting a pump here. Good to see that happening. And Bitcoin is trying by its fingernails to claw back from some pretty severe losses. Bitcoin was up at 124K just a couple of months ago, and now it's sitting at 67, almost 68K. Now it's gone as low as below 60. So this is good that we're holding in the 60s, but still pretty puny looking chart, pretty bad looking chart for Bitcoin. So good to see some of these companies start to pop up a little bit. Okay, sure enough, we hit this high here and we're pushing back down to where? That overnight high. This is that yellow line that we have been over and under all day today, that bit of a magnet. All right. Guy is here. Good morning, Guy. Ethereum up 178. Yeah, Ethereum is doing really well, which is, of course, why Bitmine is doing so well. That's that treasury company. So good to see it happening. I'm a firm believer in crypto, in the crypto space. I think that we've got institutional adoption. I think we've got adoption by the administration. And so, in my opinion, it's just a matter of time before the crypto space kind of really starts to take off. It's truly a better railway system for financial transactions if we can get some good, strong regulation on it. Much better than the old systems where they hold your money for 5 days. Anybody love how they do that? They sure do take it in about a split second, but don't they hold it when you deposit something or you move an ACH, right? And a transfer from one bank to another. Well, you're not going to see your money for 5 days. Well, that's so antiquated, and we have the technology to fix that. And guess why we don't? Well, the big banks have no incentive to. Certainly they want to hold your money for 5 days and use it, don't they? So this is the thing with Bitcoin or the whole crypto space, is that it does make these instantaneous transactions possible. It's fast, it's secure, it's cheap. And so we've got all of this ability and technology, but of course the big banks block it. So once we get some good regulation on Bitcoin, I really do think eventually we'll get there. Eventually, it's just a matter of time. Those old systems are going to have to go the way of the dinosaur. Absolutely, they are. Okay. So we are just sitting right here at the overnight high and the VWAP. That was a mess. And again, I am sitting on my hands right now, just waiting for some clear direction. And it's sideways, sideways. And this sideways baloney is what is tough for day traders, because in my strategy, we're trading today's expiration. So when we are holding an option that expires today, well, guess what? The closer we get to the end of the day, the less value that option has. That's called theta. That's the name of the Greek, or we also call it time decay. And so when they're pulling it sideways like they've been doing for hours now, it's been going on since, I don't know, 10, a couple hours it's been going on. When they're doing that, they are what we call burning theta. They are bleeding your options out. They're just bleeding them out slowly but surely. And that happens a lot. Your broker, believe it or not, and if you don't believe me, Google it. It's true. Your broker is a lot of the times taking the other side of your trade. Believe it or not, your broker is trading against you. Can you believe it? They are. And so their brokers and hedge funds and institutions, they have the size to move the market any way they choose. And so I am one of the believers that the market is heavily manipulated. A lot of us believe that, can't really prove it, but a lot of us out there do believe it. And so you don't have to trade very long to understand how the market moves against you and how manipulated it is. It doesn't take long to see that if you're a trader. So today, we're getting this sideways movement. They're bleeding out the theta. They're pulling your options sideways, and that works for them. That works for them. So this is why when I see this behavior, I'm out. I'm sitting on my hands. I am waiting. And again, we talked about the VIX. You see the exact same thing happening in the VIX. Look at this top on the VIX right here at 18.8. We popped above it here and here, but by and large, 18.8 is our top, and here's our bottom, 18.5. We popped below it right down here, 18.5 is the bottom, 18.8 is the top. We have not breached that. We're just sideways. So these are the types of markets that are good for spreads. And we haven't talked really about spreads on this channel. It's a little bit more of an advanced topic. And I'll give you a brief overview of what a spread is and what we use them for. Everything has its place in the market. Some people will only do spreads, excuse me. Some people will only do single leg directional. I like to use all of the tools, right? So on this stream, we're really only using single directional just because that's how I have it designed. But in my own private trading, I will definitely take spreads. Spreads are so when we trade on this channel, we're going to take a single leg directional trade. So we're going to get an option at a call or a put, and we're going to buy the option. We're not going to sell it. We're going to buy it. And as the buyer of the option, we are limiting our risk because we can only lose the amount that we paid for the option. We can't lose more. As the seller of the option, we can lose infinitely. So on this stream, we're only taking single leg long option trades. Long meaning we're the buyer. But a spread is where we would take the other side of the trade. And I'm sure this has probably occurred to you at some point, right? Well, what if I took a put and a call? What if I tried to capture, because this market goes up and down, what if I tried to capture both sides of that move? In a sense, that's what spreads do. We're not taking a put and a call. That is a spread. It's called a straddle or a strangle, but we're buying and selling the same side of the market. So if we were in a call spread right now, we would be buying and selling a call. All right, here's our little bounce. Let's see if we can hit this top again one more time. Come on now. You guys got to be tired of pulling it sideways by now. So in the spread, you again, same as the single leg option, you can be the buyer, you can be the seller. I prefer to sell spreads. If I'm going to buy a spread, I'd prefer a single leg option. But in selling credit, I love selling credit spreads. And that puts you in the position of your broker, right? So if we're in a trade right now, let's say a call, and your broker is maybe he's taken a spread against you, or maybe he sold the call against you. That broker is making money as your call descends. But if we are selling credit, we're in essence kind of on the side of your broker, and we're actually making money on this sideways chop. So there are different tools in the market. We use them all in different market conditions, and the market does change every day. It's a new landscape, right? If you see the ocean every day, it looks a little different, doesn't it? Or I live in Colorado, so every day I see the mountains and they look just a little different. You know, the way the light hits or the way the clouds hit, or if they're snowy or if they're not. That's kind of like the market. We get a different market every day. We have to judge the conditions and we have to be smart. So that's kind of a short primer on spreads. There's a whole lot more to it. We can talk about that deeper if you guys like, but it'll it'll fry your brain if you're not prepared for it. Okay. So here we are up at the top of our range. Let's see if these guys will punch through it this time. They haven't done it yet. Let's see what our VIX is doing. Getting closer to the bottom. We just made a new low on the VIX. Well, hallelujah. Are we moving in the right direction? Hard to say. We'll keep watching. Nice little move up here. We like that. Let's break this range. There we go. Come on now. Come on, bulls. Let's get with the program. sitting at 691.4 on the SPY. There's a strong push on volume. See the volume? Watch this bar. There we go. That's what we want to see. And I wouldn't mind if it dropped to the bottom side either. I just want out of this range. Look at that volume picking up. There we go. Finally. Come on now. Come on, guys. Keep it going. A little slow down here. And I'm not going to trade this move just yet. I want to see them actually push through. And even then, I might not trade it because we've already started the move. Okay, VIX is getting a little bounce here, so maybe we're at the top again. There it goes. So a newer low on the VIX. We haven't made a new high on the SPY yet. That's sitting at 691.99, but we're not far off. It's just overhead here. Let's take a quick look at our volume. We've got biggest volume sitting at the 692 calls, followed by the 690 puts on the other side. That's very indicative of the spread of the range that we've just been in. Then we've got 694 is our next highest level. So I do think they're still trying to jump up there and hit that. They're just not doing it yet. And maybe they are. Maybe we've just started to move up. That VIX has given us another low here. If we could get a little pullback here, I'd be open to looking at some 691 calls. I'm not in them, but I'd be open to it. I'd like to see a little pullback. We've only got just a couple of points before we hit that high. So see, it's not going to pull back. Now it's going to go. And that's okay, right? You wait through this range. I would not have taken any trade because by the time it broke this top here on one of these bars, we've already started the move. So I'm okay letting that move pass. I think we will come up hopefully and try to catch a new high here. Wow, Bitmine up 12%. Love it, love it, love it. Beautiful. Okay, 691.7, almost hitting this high. Here we go. And again, we do have volume overhead at 694, which is a good bit above us. Getting a little pullback here. Didn't quite hit that top. Got within striking distance though. 691.8. Let's take a look at the gamma. Got a little bit overbought here. Coming down, it looks like a little bit here. Call wall sitting at 693, which lines up with our volume at 694. So I still think we've got some upward momentum to go here, at least right now. At least that's what the gamma is showing. So on the next pullback, we could consider calls here. It's been very slow about making up its mind. Now, could we consider calls even on this tiny little pullback? I don't know. The MACD is starting to kind of roll over a little bit here. So I do think we're going higher. But they sure have been tricky about it today. All right. Do we want to consider any kind of a put here? We could. If we were going to look at puts, they would be the 692s. Those are the first ones in the money. Do we want to trust that? We're pretty high elevated over the VWAP, so it would be a bit of a counter trend trade. And there's a little green candle here. We do have the RSI coming back down a little bit. We don't quite have the MACD rolled over, but it's getting close. VIX gave us a little bounce here. Johnny Fitness, good morning. Good to see you. I love credit spreads. Good. That's good. They're fun. Can make money on credit spreads. Predicting where price is not going to go. Right. Exactly. All right. No put here. We don't have a MACD rollover. There it is. Starting to roll right here. No entry for me, not just yet. Today has just been very challenging trading. And sometimes it's better to sit on your hands. Guys saying, does anyone remember what NVIDIA did after they posted last earnings, which were good? I do. It went down for days. Thank you, Guy, for reminding us. Yeah. I don't think NVIDIA has had bad earnings in, I don't even know how long. They usually have very strong earnings. But as we said, it doesn't necessarily equate to what the investors are going to do, what the stock market will do with their price. All right. Are we making another run up here? Do we pivot over to calls? I'm looking at 691 calls. Not in anything. This is very challenging trading right here today. All right, looks like it might try to give us a push. Just so trappy today. We sort of keep hitting this top and reversing off of it. This will be the third attempt. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we haven't pushed through the top yet. Well, VIX is still coming down. NVIDIA just flying today. If I took a call, it would be really fast and very small percent. It's a little bit higher risk sitting here at the top. It feels to me like they want to push for another leg up. And I'm just kind of watching what the NASDAQ is doing and what NVIDIA is doing. All right, are we pushing this top yet or not? 691.9, almost making a new high. 691.8. NVIDIA just climbing. Qs are kind of trying to make up their mind. Here it goes. Come on. VIX dropping. No new high yet. So yeah, NVIDIA up over 2%, so 2.1%. The Qs are up 1.1. So remember, the Qs are basically the ETF over the NASDAQ index. Kind of the same as the SPY is the ETF over the S&P 500 index. So Qs and SPY tend to run usually hand in hand. And I'm going to take a quick look at the Qs. I've been really watching it closely today, except for it looks like we want to push here. Roger, good to see you. Back from a dog sled ride in Tromsø, Norway. Let's bush. Sounds like so much fun. Sounds like it might have been cold. All right, let's take a quick look at the Qs here. Okay, so Qs chart looks a bit different, doesn't it? We're fixing to make a new high. Qs are not. Qs are still stuck in this sideways range. This is telling to me I'm not going to take a chance on a call here. Not yet. Looks like this SPY might have hit a new high. Let's take a look here. Not quite. It's just trying. 91.98 instead of 91.99. Isn't that ridiculous? They're being very cagey today, that's for sure. Really hard to trade this. And I'd like to make my goal today, but I have not. I've not yet made my goal today. And this might be one of those days where it's better to sit on your hands. We'll see. Let's see here. I'm going to put the Qs right here, side by side. There's our high, finally. Okay, guys, it's about time. This is just nonsense. Do you see it? Nonsense. 692.0. That's our new high. There it goes. There it goes. All right, come on now. SPY is pushing a bit here, and Qs are doing absolutely nothing. Low volume. $692.1. That's our high. All right. SPY climbing and Q's not. What is going on here? VIX is dropping. Interesting. The SPY is going. I might take this trade on the Qs, which I don't usually do. That's unusual for me. I might take a call trade on the Qs. I'm looking at the 615s. I'm going to give it a try. I think. I'm getting the right account. 615s. I'm going to take a small position. Don't take anything big. This is a little riskier. I'm not in yet. I'm just watching it. Based on what the SPY is doing, though, is what's given me some confidence here. New high on the SPY. New low on the VIX. And the Q's not doing anything, is it? All right, I'm going to take the call on this on the Qs. I am in, punch it, and I'm not looking for anything big. It's a little higher risk. I don't normally trade the Qs. All right, Roger's in at 161. Good luck, Roger. It's like I said, it's a small position for me. This is a higher risk trade. I'm not going to take, if I take a win, I'm not going to take a big one. Little move there on the Qs. No, coming down. Yes, I did have my usual amount. Good, Roger. Getting some volume on the SPY. Little push on the Qs. All right, I'm going to get out right here at 3%. I know it's nothing, but it was a high risk trade. And the SPY is making these little red candles. So I'm out at 3%. I think it could continue. It looks like it might, but I'm taking little trades today. That's for sure. All right, there you go. There you go. Getting some upper wicks here on the Qs. And there goes the SPY again. If we could get a little pullback on this SPY, that would be great. I would like to trade another call on the SPY. If we can get this little MACD to cooperate here. All right, looks like the Qs want to push now. I think SPY is leading Qs today, even though the Qs are up higher than the SPY. If that makes sense, it feels like the price action, it feels like SPY is leading the price action, but I could be wrong and they could take turns just over about the last hour. It kind of feels that way. All right, Roger, 6%. Hey, on a day like today, take it and be glad. This has been one heck of a hard day to trade. Maybe it's just me. Maybe y'all are doing better. Excuse me, but it's been a tough day for me to trade. That's for sure. I'll be happy if I hit my goal today. So far, I'm not hitting it. I'm up a little bit, but not very much. All right, little reversal here. That's what we'd like to see. VIX give us a little pop. Let's see if we can get our MACD rolling down. Looks like it is. Yeah, Guy, tough day. Okay, I'm glad it's not just me. Some days it's just tough, right? It just is. Okay, if we can get this pull down here, I would love to try for another leg up. Let's see what we get. God forbid they drag us back into the same range. We'll pull back on the Qs there too. So we did get the MACD to roll, but it's not really following through, is it? All right, coming down just a bit. BMNR at 12%. Yes, very nice. Very, very nice. All right, so if we get a pop up here, I might consider calls again. MACD is still red, so not yet. Let's zoom out on the Qs and see what it's looking like. So Qs still has not beat its high where the SPY did. So there's a little bit of divergence on these charts. So it's something to be aware of. Take a quick look at NVIDIA just for the heck of it. All right, NVIDIA on a mission. 197 is the high of day. Video doesn't look like it's going anywhere to the downside, does it? Not right now, anyway. UNH, very nice. Thank you, UNH. 3% up today, nice. Here's a picture of the Mag 7, looking a lot like the Qs, wouldn't you say? Look at this. Push up from the open and then boom, range, 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 range. Looking much more like the Qs than the SPY. All right, SPY coming back down off its high. SPY really almost seems like it's following NVIDIA, doesn't it? And the Qs kind of feel like they're following the mags. They're a little bit diverged from each other, so that's interesting. But this chart looks a bit more like NVIDIA, even though NVIDIA, let me take that back. NVIDIA doesn't look like this. We don't have this rounded bottom. NVIDIA is kind of like stair-stepping up all day. But this most recent price action is reminding me more of NVIDIA, just kind of like stair steps up here slowly. All right, our MACD is still red, so no calls yet. So NVIDIA right now just going kind of sideways. What I'm looking for is leadership. I don't know if you guys are if you guys are noticing that. That's what I'm looking to see, who is leading today. Looks like NVIDIA to me, at least on the SPY. All right, so no put for me. We're up a little bit too high. It's not really dropping. What I'd like to see is another leg up. That's what I'm looking for. We get another leg up. We'd like to see the VIX pop back down here again. And the VIX really, if we look at the VIX, we can see that it stayed in this range a long time. We talked about that earlier. It really stayed in this range a long time. And then it finally dropped. So we're sort of seeing a downward move here on the VIX. And there's a little push on the SPY. I am going to load the calls on the SPY. I'm actually looking at Qs, so I need to switch over. And I'm going to load the 692s. This would be really small position because we're sitting at a new high. MACD hasn't rolled over yet. VIX hasn't dropped yet. mean, it's dropping in general, but I'm talking about the current bar, the current candle. We'd like to see the VIX give us a red candle pushing down if we're going to get another leg higher. All right, well, we are reaching the end of the stream, and it's been a little bit slow today, but we took one little bitty winner. That was fun. Sometimes these days are just tough, and you're much better sitting on your hands, trust me, than you are putting your hard-earned capital at risk. So be careful out there. Your indicators are going to be a little bit faulty today. You can see them. You can see them not, they're giving false signals here, right? Some of them are. So just be careful. Be real careful. Roger, don't leave us hanging. Well, I hope you're not hanging. You're out of your trade, right, Roger? Hopefully everything's good. Johnny's saying thank you. You're welcome. All right. Thanks, guys, so much for joining. It was a slow day, but fun nonetheless. It's always fun to trade together. And again, we took that tiny win together, so that was decent. Better than taking losses on a tough day like today. So we will be back tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. Remember, if you're a trader who likes to hold overnight, NVIDIA earnings tonight after the bell, it is sure to move the markets. Be careful with that. And we will be back tomorrow morning and hopefully take some more trades together. Roger, finger is on the 692 call order. I hear you, Roger. Keep an eye on NVIDIA, Roger. I'm feeling, I could be wrong, but it feels a bit to me like NVIDIA might be leading the SPY today. I'm not sure about that, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. And that's kind of what slowed me down because NVIDIA is starting to get a little round over here, you can see. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. And we don't have a red drop on the VIX yet either. So I wouldn't take any puts or any calls just yet. All right. You guys, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. Bye for now.